Hello viewers, in this video we are going to discuss conflict serializability concept in transaction concepts. Conflict serializability, it is used to check whether a given non-serial schedule is conflict serializable or not. It performs this process of checking the given non-serial schedule is either conflict serializable or not by converting the given non-serial schedule into serial schedule by swapping its non-conflict operation. Okay, how it does this process? It converts the given non-serial schedule into serial schedule. How it converts? By swapping its non-conflict operation. Okay, let us discuss what are conflict operation and what are non-conflict operations. If two transactions or else if more than one transactions are performing operations on the different data items, they are known as non-conflict operation because those transactions are doing operations on different data items, right? So that will not violate the consistency property, so they are non-conflict. Okay. The another option is if two transactions are performing operations on same data item, so there is a possibility for conflict occurrence, right? So we should check which are conflict and which are non-conflict when the operations are done by different transaction on the same data item. Okay, so when more than one transactions are doing read operation on the same data item, those are non-conflict. Okay, n number of transactions may perform read operations on the same data item because that will not violate the consistency property. Okay, then if any one of the transaction is doing write operation on the same data item, then those that is conflict with other operations done by the transactions. Okay, so what are conflict and what are non-conflict, students? So when operations are done by more than one transaction on different data item, those are non-conflict. And if multiple transactions are doing read operations on the same data item also, they are non-conflict. But when multiple transactions are doing operations on the same data item and at least one of the operation is write operation, then that are known as conflict with the other operations. Okay, now what is the process we are going to do? So we are going to take the non-serial schedule and we are going to convert that non-serial schedule into serial by swapping the non-conflict operations. Okay, so now this is what the non-serial schedule given for us to determine either it is conflict serializable or not. Here it is non-serial schedule. You can notice why how it is known as non-serial schedule. Here, before the completion of the operations in T1, T2 operations are permitted to execute. Okay, that is the reason the given schedule is known as non-serial schedule. So, as we all know that non-serial schedules always may not produce consistent result. Okay, so that's the reason we have to determine either the given non-serial schedule is serializable or not. So now we are going to determine this process using conflict serializability check. Okay, so now we have to swap the non-conflict operations one by one. Then either we can able to get the serial schedule of this. We are going to do now. Okay, here what is the first operation in this schedule? Read on A, right? So the next operation, swapping can be done with the only adjacent operations. Okay, so what is the adjacent operation of this? Here read on A, that is in T2. So these two are non-conflict because multiple transaction can perform read operation on the same data item, right? So these are non-conflict. So let us swap this read on A down and this read on A to up. So when we swap it, it comes here and it goes up. So now this is what the intermediate result of this non-serial schedule. Now again we have to try for moving this one down and this up. So for doing this we have to determine that these two operations are non-conflict. Yes, these two are non-conflict because this transaction is doing operation on A and it is doing operation on B. So since transactions are doing operations on different data items, these are non-conflict. So it can be swapped. Okay, so when we swap it, we got this intermediate result. So that is this read on B, it moved up, and read on A, it come down. Okay, then again there is one more step for swapping it. So this read on A and write on B need to be swapped. So these two are non-conflict because T1 and T2 are doing operations on different data item. So irrespective of the operation performed, since the operations are done on different data items, so obviously those are non-conflict. So it can be swapped. So now write on B can be moved up and read on A can be moved down. So when we swap it, the resultant schedule we got this. Here we can observe all the operations in T1 are brought up and all the operations in T1 are brought down. So there is no overlap between the execution of operations um, in T1 and T2. So after completion of, according to the serial schedule, after the completion of all the operations in T2, T1 operations get permission to execute. That's why this this is known as serial schedule. So now we successfully uh, converted the non-serial schedule into serial schedule by swapping all non-conflict operation. So now we can say that this non-serial schedule is the conflict equivalent of this serial schedule because we could able to convert the given non-serial schedule into serial schedule by swapping its non-conflict operation. That's why we can say this is the conflict equivalent of a serial schedule S2. When a non-serial schedule is determined as a conflict serializable, that will not violate the consistency property and it can be permitted to execute. Okay, students, in this video, we learnt about conflict serializability concept. So if you find this video is useful to you, kindly subscribe this channel.